What are you expecting, Yelena?
I think it's a tough one to call. They've only played once, and that was almost 2 years ago. And Ajla did win that one on grass, but 2 years is a long time in tennis. And for me, to be honest, I think whoever handles the occasion, the nerves, the big crowd better tonight will win this match.
Does it help or hinder being one up in the tie?
Look, it definitely helps when you're one love up. There's no doubt about that. And you kind of feel like you can play a little bit more freely. But both of these women, they've had that feeling in Fed Cup, what is now the Billie Jean King Cup, and having to play with those nerves. And when you play for your country and having that nervous energy out there. Jill, I just want to ask you quickly, you've talked about the conditions, because we called the match earlier today when it was a lot, obviously, hotter, and are the conditions a little bit slower compared to this morning?
Well, the way that return came off, it didn't look slower. It's definitely a little bit cooler, which would slow things down a little bit more. But overall, I feel like the conditions have been pretty consistent throughout the day, but the temperature has dropped just slightly.
So under pressure early in this opening service game.
And for those that don't know Katie Boulter, that smile right there, you will see that often. She's a player that does have fun out there. She likes to enjoy her tennis, and doesn't matter what stage of the match, she's actually really wants to be out there and enjoy it, which is such a positive trait.
And the opening break.
So we'll talk a little bit just about the teams there. It's the captain of Great Britain on the left, but right there sitting on the right is Biljana Veselinovic. And she has been working with the LTA for quite a few years now and helps Katie Boulter throughout the whole year, and has been with her now for a couple of seasons. Right there on the screen.
So the British system, they don't have institutes as such, but the LTA, Colin Beach is an employee of the LTA, and they've got a very strong pathway system, haven't they, for their coaches, but also for their young and their elite players.
Katie Boulter, representing Team Great Britain.
And for the Australian team, we know Leighton Hewitt is the captain, and for the women, it was going to be, just like earlier in the year, Sam Stosur, but she's now the Billie Jean King Cup captain. So congratulations to her. So she's actually in Brisbane looking after the players. So the person you see on the right is Robert Lindstedt. That's now the coach of Tomljanovic. So, of course, you can have the captain out there, but also your private coach as well.
Alicia Mollick, of course, who was the Billie Jean King Cup captain, has stepped down from that after a long reign and is about to take on the tournament director's position in Adelaide. So she's not with us in commentary like she was last year. And looking forward to running the show in her home state of South Australia.
That's great defense there from Tomljanovic, having to absorb a lot of pace, even getting pushed back behind the baseline with the depth, but did well, forcing Boulter to go for more and draws an unforced error right here. Sometimes actually making your opponent miss is a skill in itself, isn't it? Just to put that extra ball back into the court. You just never know what can happen.
Right survey.
15.
A nice ace, but still two to defend here for Boulter. Good serving.
That's good variation as well, because she used that one out wide, took a bit of pace off, went for the slider, really cut around the ball to get the angle. Perfect placement still. One more break point for Tomljanovic. I think for Boulter, for me, the tactic's clear. Got it going a lot into the Tomljanovic forehand there. Just draws a shorter and shorter ball. And this right here could have gone anywhere. Look at the early preparation. She was back behind the baseline, but she holds it, waits for Tomljanovic to commit to the other side and goes back behind. Really smart play. That's the forehand. So why I say the forehand, it's not a bad shot by any means, but sometimes she has the tendency, Tomljanovic, just to lift up out of that shot and breaks the elbow. Doesn't quite follow all the way through to the target like she does on the backhand, where she's really comfortable. And Boulter already really peppering that forehand side.
So a good escape from Boulter. Saved the 3 break points, couple of aces. And leads 2-love.
It's a great comeback. Jill, from here, you're right there on the baseline on Isla's side. She really looks like she's getting pushed back behind the baseline further and further, especially once the rally starts, whereas Boulter is really up on the baseline the whole time.
And it's not that easy to do either, because I've noticed Isla's trying to stay up on the baseline. That's where she likes to be as well. They both like to be in control of the points, but you're right, she is getting pushed back more than she would like, but that's credit to Boulter. She's getting good depth, and then a couple times has used that angle forehand really well at the perfect moment.
Just missed that one, but the Boulter ground strokes, they're flat and they come out fast, and it's effortless too.
But also, I want to talk about Boulter's technique, because she's actually very technically sound. I mean, they both are, and that's why she can hit the ball as well. As we can see right there, there's not much that can go wrong with that forehand and backhand. Like that. So why I say that is she's got the right grips and those short backswings, so she can't get caught with a big backswing. She follows through her shots, she gets down low, and she's always balanced as well and doesn't come off the shot. And I love that she's got early preparation whenever she can, even this forehand right here. So not much can go wrong. This is a big game, I feel like, for Tomljanovic to try and get on the board, get a hold of serve, not go down 2 breaks, because sometimes when that happens, and she's still coming back from injury, let's not forget that, sometimes things can really go by very, very quickly, and you feel like you got no control of anything out there.
Now there's a lot of pressure coming from Boulter. Brings up the break point.
Wow.
Impressive. Fast start for Team Great Britain, out to a 3-love lead. So that is a fast start. They've already won the opening encounter, courtesy of Cameron Norrie. 2 wins is enough to take the tie, and this is a fast start. Not over yet, of course, but it's a perfect start for Katie Boulter.
It is, and talked already early on in the match that I really like her positivity. I like her demeanor. She's got always this really positive attitude, even when she's out there and things are not going her way. And that's been a big reason why she's actually been able to, I think, progress, even at this maybe later stage of her career. And you can even see here on a chair, really positive communication and eye contact with the coach as well.
Very engaged in the whole process. You're talking, Elena, about the positivity and the demeanour of Katie Boulter. It's not the easiest thing to do when you're a British tennis player. She's the British #1 now, and as you know, they love it. and they love to knock you as well. There's a bit of both. They cheer vigorously, and if you disappoint them, they get a little bit fractious, the British media.
Do they?
I think so.
Okay.
One
Do
of my
they, Jill?
observations. Well, you've been out there. You
do
know
they
more
do?
about it than me.
I think so. I have to agree with Dave on that one. I mean,
I am going to stay neutral and
Stay out of
diplomatic
it.
on this one.
they put up with a lot. Although I talked a long time with Tim Hemman, and he actually just decided at one point in his career not to read the newspaper anymore, and he said it worked well for him.
And that's also what Andy Murray did as well before he won his first Wimbledon. And he stopped completely reading the papers and anything on social media, and it really helped.
It sounds like you're agreeing with me now. But it's a big thing. My point is, it's a big thing in a tennis-loving nation to be the #1. And obviously, Emma Raducanu, such a bright, sparkling career early, but has had those issues relentlessly, unfortunately. And we love to see her back because she's such a talented player. But at the moment, it's Boulter that's #1.
Good shot. Well, in all seriousness, I mean, if anyone is an advocate of really giving players and athletes that space and not putting pressure on them from whether it's parents or coaches or the media, I think we really need to pay attention to that, especially to young sports people and young women. It's a lot to deal with, and it's not as glamorous as it sometimes looks. And yeah, it's difficult to also watch what Emma Raducanu is going through, and she's a Grand Slam champion and gets a hard time.
Well, I think both these players are testimony to hanging in there, because Tomljanovic's 30, and her career high came last year, courtesy of what she did at the end of 2022, and Boulter at 27 is at the peak of her career. It's a long time from the 20s, the early 20s, to their age now, and good on them for hanging in.
Yeah, and not everyone's going to make it at 15. And in tennis, you can play for 2 decades, and we've seen that now. Players playing longer and longer. And yeah, I think we need to give athletes that time and space and be a little bit kinder.
Every time the door just opens slightly, Boulter slams it shut.
Yeah, she sure does, especially on these big points. She has served really well. Not just the pace, but the variation. And this one, I loved her forehand as well. I love that early preparation and that body weight and the transfer going forward. You can see the intention and backing herself. Such a positive mindset.
So Katie Boulter off to the best possible start for Team Great Britain. Here's this service action from Katie Boulter. Again, it's a bit like the ground strokes. Everything's moving in synchronisation. High ball toss.
Extension, a good leg drive as well. She goes up after the ball, shoulder over shoulder. She's got that shoulder rotation, but the hip stays side on. Very smooth action, and not much can go wrong. Got that right grip as well.
placement's a little easy at the moment for Boulter as well. She just seems to be finding the right spots.
Well, the issue you have with Tomljanovic that's a bit of a worry is if you can't hold your serve and you're really struggling in that area, then that's where you go, okay, how do I first get up there, take care of business on my side of the end, and that's holding serve. And look, she's around 55% of first serves in. That's got to be a bit higher than that, especially because she's not going fully after it. So that was better. That was the first serve right there. Maybe mix it up, go into the body a bit more. You know, Katie, she's a pretty tall girl, got long levers. Maybe change it up, jam her into the body to maybe get a shorter ball, maybe throw in a kick serve, but just maybe get that first serve percentage up to start with.
Well, I think what you said about mixing it up a little bit, because right now Boulter is just teeing off on these returns, and that's where she's been able to get the edge in so many of these rallies and the points, is because her return is so good. And you can just see Tomljanovic trying to play catch up almost to deal with the pace off the return.
There's another first serve. Much better there. Bigger one as well. Good effort. Now this is the Tomljanovic serve right there. It's a pretty good motion as well. Sometimes that left arm can collapse a little bit. Another good one.
So Australia on the board. Welcome hold of serve. 4-1 for Team Great Britain.
Sorry?
He's not going to hurt me from the backhand side.
Exactly. And then when you hit it, have that strong base, right? Strong front leg. Don't lift up on that one. Stay low and hit through. Finish the shot before you move anywhere else. And it's not this far away, right? It's this far away. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. So close.
So some quite specific technical advice coming for Ajla Tomljanovic.
Well, I think that was a massive hold right there to get on the board. There's nothing worse than not getting on the board early on in that first set. So even though it's still a double break, that was a big hold. But you could hear her coach there also say, especially on the back end, but both of her ground strokes, just to have a really nice, wide, strong base and not to come off the shots too early and think about the next one. So, which is probably happening because she's feeling rushed because of the way that Katie's playing, the depth, the pace. So basically just saying, stay with the shot, hit it first, and then go from there. Don't panic.
When you look at the statistics here so far, it's quite fascinating, really. Tomljanovic better first serve percentage significantly. The unforced errors are less, 5 to 8, but it's the winners. Boulter 10 to Tomljanovic 1. So capacity to find the clean winner.
There's another stat there, though. When Boulter gets her first serve in, she wins 88% of points behind the first serve, but Tomljanovic only 50%, and that was even lower a game ago. And that's because of the serving quality, but also what she does on those first 2 shots in a rally and looks for the big forehand. So that's the massive difference. But yeah, you're right. The massive amount of winners, which is 11 and only 1 for Tomljanovic, just really tells you who's controlling this match.
And again, that flat ball, Yelena, it takes time away from Tomljanovic, and
It is
the right spot, and it's a little heavy.
But also what Boulter's doing really well, she's exposing the sidelines. So Tomljanovic is really the one that's on the run as well. So not just getting pushed back, but she's having to cover a lot of court. She's never the one that's in actually the position to dictate. And Jill, you probably see that even better. You're right there on that baseline where Ajla is right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think also Boulter, she's moving through the ball exceptionally well. Anything short, she's taking that 1 or 2 steps forward, and that can make all the difference to make your opponent feel even more rushed on the other side of the court.
Wow, that's just incredible ball striking, just so clean from Boulter. The short backswing, just incredible timing. Again, it's getting Tomljanovic at end range, just pushing her side to side.
Well, again, she was able to get herself out of that trouble, 30, not trouble, but a little tight spot at 30 all, and able to close out the game again.
At the moment, 30 all is trouble for Boulter.
Well, yes. It's all relative, isn't it? But you're right. Now it's 5-1 in favour of Team Great Britain.
It's interesting when you've got 2 players that play kind of the same, and it's different to what we had earlier in the day with Sarah Surbastomo and Hologic Maya. It was 2 players with so much variation and court craft. We're not going to see that as much here. These are 2 incredible ball strikers, and they love the ball in that kind of strike zone, hip height, and they're both doing that. So now it's a question, how do you win points? And what does Ajla do from here to actually turn this around and make Boulter feel uncomfortable? And let's say even if Boulter goes off the ball, it would be the same question for her. So do you have a plan B? Do you have variation? What can you go to? Or do you hit your way out of trouble? Can you maybe mix up something and use a few angles or throw in a few loopy ones? So that's what we'll see, what will play out. And Jill... Okay, we'll have a quick look at the Tomljanovic serve before I go to you, Jill. And this is the Tomljanovic serve right here. You see the left arm goes up a little quicker. Good ball toss, though. She gets the right up in time, but the left arm drops. And sometimes you kind of can't see fully there, though. The right hip comes around too soon, and the ball toss is too far to the right. So when that happens, you can only slice around the ball. That's why at times she doesn't have a kick serve, because the ball toss is too far to the right. So Jill, I was going to ask you about that variation, because you used to drive me crazy with that when I used to play.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so you can talk about that more than me.
I was trying to just keep up with your pace. I know what I was feeling like right now. Yeah, the variation is, I agree with you, is going to be big. But, I mean, with the depth of Boulter, it's just been tough for Ajla to have time on the ball. I mean, that was a much better, cleaner game from Tomljanovic.
So an easy hold, a welcome time. Team Great Britain 5-2. Western Australia's beaches, highlight of this fantastic part of the universe. Lucky Bay, Cottesloe, famous building that stands in front of the surf. We saw Igor Swiatek there earlier in the week, Scarborough, and then of course to Broome and Rottnest Island, which Novak Djokovic was visiting today.
Well,
you did a couple of days ago.
Yes, did you not see my quokka selfie?
I did. It was not quite Roger Federer level, but it was not bad. How cute are they?
That's not very nice.
Not very nice.
I thought I did a very good job
Well,
with
Rogers
my
is like
selfie.
elite level, so it's
okay.
It's 10 out of 10.
He's Roger Federer.
Yeah.
Well, Rottnest was incredible. Visited on Christmas Eve and went to Cottesloe as well. It's been amazing to be here for a few days.
Time.
Good crowd, great atmosphere at RAC Arena for this encounter between Team Great Britain, Team Australia. If you are just joining us, Cameron Norrie got the opening match in 3 sets, 7-6 in the tie-break against Alex de Minaur. Katie Boulter's got off to a fast start here, was 4-love up, and Tomljanovic managing to get on the scoreboard, but now serving for this opening set. Was a good service placement. Haven't seen too much of the wide, slightly slower, just 149 kilometres. So just 35 minutes, 3 set points. It's been an impressive opening set from Boulter. Who bolts through, takes the first set comfortably. 6-2. Impressive.
Turn is coming back really quickly. That's the wide one. We haven't seen that one too much on the juice side, so I really like that serve. Can also open up the court if you have good placement. Jill, Ajla almost looks like she's sometimes just in reaction mode and just almost what comes, and it's almost like she's really not in control in some of these shots. Can she change that in any way?
Well, I felt like she was starting to do that in the last couple of games of the first set, because there were moments that I felt like she looked like she was finally being able to get behind the ball better, a little bit more balanced.
Oh, well done.
Great volley.
It's a great get from Boulter earlier on in that point, but Ajla, she anticipated on that ball. It closed the net so well. Great reflexes. I think she almost hit it a little bit with the frame, but doesn't matter. She'll take it. She was there. This was a great first volley, and look at that anticipation to the right as Boulter was hitting that forehand. Excellent.
And another one, example right there, Elena, that we were talking about, just getting a little bit more rush. But I think it has to do with the fact that Boulter is taking quite a few of these balls, not only with a ton of pace, but on the rise as well, and just giving so much less time for Ajla to get settled on the opposite side of the court.
And you can see there that serve. If technically everything's not kind of all right under pressure, that's going to collapse. And that's that ball toss to the right, where her serve's actually technically not bad, but the ball toss makes her open up that right hip and collapse and actually pull the ball down. And that will usually happen when you're nervous.
Game, Team Red Bull. First game, second set.
So again, early break.
I just wonder here, Jill, as well, maybe we can have this conversation. Is it worth for Ajla, even though it's not her natural game style, do you loop up a few? Do you just throw in a slice? I know she can here and there throw in a slice. Do you, I don't know, maybe even serve and volley, just throw in something different, because at this rate, it's not going to happen unless Boulter really something happens and goes off the ball or has a really bad couple of games. This is the perfect kind of player that Boulter likes to play. Everything coming right in that hitting zone.
Right in that strike zone, yeah. No, I think that'd be a great option for Ajla. It's just if Ajla has the time to do it. I mean, I think she's definitely capable of throwing in some slices and changing the pace. I don't necessarily see her loop the ball that much or get it up high on her opponents, but she can definitely get that ball low and slow it down, try and slow things down just a little bit. But right now she still has the urge to try and overpower Katie, and that's just not working right now.
Yeah.
worry, I think, if there's a lack of pace from Tomljanovic, is that Boulter will just hit it back harder past you. Is that the concern?
No, it's more mixing up the height of the shot and also, you know, that length as well, bringing your opponent forward, using your angles as well. Otherwise, everything is just coming straight up and down the court into the hitting zone, that hip height. And it also ends up being quite predictable.
Love 30.
Because when you're a great ball striker, doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to miss everything that goes low or high or a little bit shorter or deeper, but just to upset and change that rhythm, because at the moment it's just all in Boulter's hands, and she loves this type of player. See, I don't mind that shot, a little slow. I did just float out, but something like that, because it's also a psychological aspect. All of a sudden, your opponent has to think about what's coming next. At the moment, Boulter knows, well, it's just kind of the same ball all the time.
Again, great width from Boulter.
30 all.
Once again, just gets out of that tight spot. She hasn't been down love 30 in a service game.
Well, this is as tight as it's been at 30 all.
She did have the 3 break points, remember, in her first service game. Tomljanovic wasn't able to convert them. Well, Paddy Boulter, superb play. Managed the transition with the slice, turned one back in the same fashion and holds serve and consolidates that break.
And Dave, we've got a special one here. Jill Krabas, our courtside commentator, is with Katie Boulter's coach, Biljana Veselinovic.
Biljana, we've been so impressed with how Katie's been playing. You've been working with her for a little bit now. What has impressed you the most with her performance today, her debut here at the United Cup?
Yeah, well, she has been working so hard over preseason, physically the most, and the consistency of her strokes. She's strong in legs and hitting the ball well, but controlling well as well.
And then just talking about this situation, she's making her debut. It's a much different experience for the players here. Having Cam come through earlier today, tight match, do you feel that helped relieve some of the pressure here for Katie?
Definitely. Knowing that she is going to go back on court for mixed doubles, it's always good to have 1-0 up. And yeah, but we are all expecting that she's going to go through this as well.
She's playing fantastic,
Thank
so
you.
I'll let you get back. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Well, that was Biljana just talking about that physical aspect and what Katie's been working on just this whole year, but in the off season, and that's pretty much what she told me a few days ago as well, that she is a lot stronger, especially on her legs, and to be able to just be more set for the balls, move better agility, cover the court, and even just get more power out of her shots. And that's what we're seeing.
There was a lot of friendly banter in the media conferences and the discussions before the tournament. Of course, Katie Boulter, partner of Alex de Minaur, and she said some of his comments were ridiculous.
There's a lot of trash talk
Yeah,
going on, wasn't there?
It was first class, almost as classy as the game that she's displaying here tonight. De Minaur said he was looking forward to playing her in mixed doubles because he knew all about her weaknesses and how to exploit them. That didn't go down well.
No,
a little bit frosty that evening, I think. Then said that he wasn't going to be playing the mixed doubles, so he got in trouble with his own teammates for revealing the team strategy. This all went on in the space of about 2 hours. All light-hearted, I think.
You think?
Well, you know when you say I'm joking.
Mm.
Anyway, at the moment, Team GB are the ones that are doing the laughing.
Well, you know, when you talk about those mind games in sport, that's what we talk about. Getting in the head of your opponent.
Well, when she looks back at this match and she has a look at the statistics, it's where the ball's going that's so impressive.
Yeah.
It's got pace, but the placement.
It's the depth.
First class.
And then when she does want to go for the angles, she goes for the angles. But even if you actually, I'm looking at Isla's stats here. I mean, she's got 6 winners and 11 unforced errors. It's not terrible considering someone's actually out here playing such a clean match and pretty much overpowering her. It's just everything's out of her hands. There's nothing she can do. That's a good point. Did well to just even stay in it, Tomljanovic, and then found a shot that she could go for, that backhand down the line. Just shows you, though, what it takes to win a point. She would love a hold here.
So they're on the board in this second set. Crowd starting to get a little more involved. That'll help. It's Team GB 2-1, upper set. I like Leighton's demeanour too in this situation. He's a sort of perfect person in your corner in this situation, always looking at the upside. There we go, we're back in it. That's the way to do it. Don't worry about he's not even mentioning what's happened before then. Let's just concentrate what happened just then.
I mean, talk about great attitude and competitive spirit. And even if it's 6 love, 5 love, 40 love, he would still be upbeat and confident and have that fight both on the court as a Davis Cup captain and a team captain as well.
He might be a bit young for this, but he's a bit like the Knights that go knee from Monty Python, where it's just a flesh wound as the poor old soldier's got no arms and legs left. They've been chopped off. And
take that chance and go for like you hit that backhand line.
Well, there's plenty more to look forward to on day 2 of the United Cup. Casper Ruud in action along with Jiri Lehechka. And we've got Angie Kerber back on Australian courts. Alex Zverev will take on Lorenzo Sonega. Hubert Urkacz, they're up against Brazil, and Iga Swiatek, she'll take on Beatrice Haddad-Maia. Day 2 action of the United Cup.
do something different or hope that you go off the boil, but it's not looking that that's the likely outcome.
That's the forehand right here. Have a look at the transition, the body weight into the shot off that left leg as well. Great shoulder rotation, and just throws that racket forward towards the target really freely. It's a beautiful shot. I think from what we can see here, Ajla might just try and maybe hit her way out of trouble and wait for Boulter to maybe go off the boil a little bit.
Still bubbling along pretty well, though.
I think also in these kind of matches when your opponent is playing so well, so much of it from Ajla's side, I think is mental. You have to not get so, make sure you don't get so down on yourself. Just keep fighting. And I do feel like Ajla is doing that because you never know when things might change, when maybe Boulter, when nerves might come into play. So you really just have to keep fighting. And right now, I mean, Boulter's just playing exceptionally well.
I also just wonder with the pattern of play. The last couple of games for me, Tomljanovic has gone a lot more into the Boulter backhand, which also then gives her a few more backhands in that cross-court exchange, which is a better shot. But also that one stays away from the Boulter forehand, which he's just been flawless today. So she's done that and won a couple of points. I wonder, you know, if we can see that in the next couple of points, if she kind of keeps going into that backhand. So Boulter, a few errors have come off that side, including that last drop shot.
Once again, she loves a 30 love, 30 all, doesn't she? She's thrived, 100% record almost on that point.
She really digs deep, no cheap points, always first serves in. Just plays really focused tennis on the big points.
So that was where.
Well, that was that off-pace slice chip return. Just
Yeah.
sitting there when you give that pace to Boulter. She is loving it. So that was interesting. Just the very rare unforced error we got from an off-pace shot.
That's a chip return. I wonder if she can do that a few more times off a first and hard big serve. Just take the pace off and chip the return.
Advantage, Team Great Britain.
Even there, great footwork to get around to use that forehand even on a short ball. See how much she prefers that shot. Understandably so. It's a big weapon.
Game, Team Great Britain.
So still with the break.
Team Great Britain leads
3-1 in this second set after winning the first. I think if you're Ajla Tomljanovic, you're looking at what's occurred. Service break in the opening game. Had Boulter at love 30. Got to juice on her 2 service games. On her second service game pretty comfortably. So there's more positives.
Oh, absolutely. I think there's more than it looks like with this scoreline. It's been quite a few games where it's been a lot tighter than what it looks like. And let's not forget, this is only, you know, Isla's only played a handful of tournaments in the last 12 months. Let's not forget that and give her a lot of credit to even be out here playing.
Of course, that's Tomljanovic's mindset. Boulter's mindset is that I'm in command here. I'm doing it well. I've got out of trouble when I need to. I've got the right shot at the right time. And another indication of that here.
I love this positivity from Ajla, regardless of what happens in this match, because for her in this comeback from injury, every single point counts. Not just a game or a set or a match, because it's just about now building and building your confidence and your fitness. So I love that she's out here fighting for every single point. Well done. And like we always say, Jill, everyone's watching, the players are watching, coaches, the locker room's watching. They know, you know, are you going to stay there till the end? And are you going to be one of those, we call them nightmare players, where you never go away, you know? You build that reputation, don't you, by never giving up, regardless of the score.
You're exactly right, Elena, yeah. But it's nice to have the support teams behind you as well to help you if you're having some moments where you're feeling down. It's nice to be able to look over, and the Team Australia have been on their feet the last couple games after every point that Ajla has won. So that's always nice to see when you look over at your teammates.
Good hold.
Game, Team Australia.
So Tomljanovic holds and trails 3-2 in the second set.
Finally, I did to her what she's been doing to me.
Yeah, so that's what it is. Like, I mean, great hold. It's one of those things. If she fucking keeps doing this the whole match, it is just too good. But it doesn't mean you can't beat it.
It's not,
Like this.
it's not too good. It's just, like, I can stop it if I start playing better.
Yeah, yeah. But this is what it's going to take. Just 3 swings. When you have the ball in your racket, you just have to go for a little
I
bit
just
more.
feel like
What
I'm
you're
not
doing now.
getting quick on the first serve. Like, should I maybe pick a side
On her serve?
on her first serve? No, just because I feel like I'm really reacting slow.
You can.
Like that.
She's mixing on the juicy side, but on the outside she's going right.
Right.
Yeah.
She's going more to my backhand than I thought she would. So
Yeah, no,
it's
but
like,
that's what I said.
first
Like,
serve, yeah.
the ad side is according to the numbers. And then on the deuce, she is more whitey. But second serves, so far, they're pretty much in the same spot. I would still say. All right? So knowing that, take a few cuts.
You've still been in here.
Yeah.
Just got to string 4 points together, that's all. Yeah? One game, the whole match turns.
Yeah, it's
Like
a
he
lot
says,
closer than it is.
it's not far away. It's not far away. Come on.
Well, some fascinating conversation for those that were away there. And the immediate reaction from Tomljanovic when she sat down was, finally I've been able to do to her what she's been doing to me. And Nicole Pratt was involved in the back of the box there, and there's a lot of positivity. At the end of the day, though, Yelena, she's got a break serve and she hasn't been able to do it yet.
Well, there was a big conversation going on there actually about that, and even saying, where is she kind of serving? Do I actually guess and anticipate a little bit here because I'm just reacting and I feel like I'm not reacting well? And Nicole Pratt jumping in and saying, look, she's actually serving out wide a bit on the juice side, mixing it up, but on the ad side, she's actually serving to your backhand quite a bit. That was a change up there. So she's not quite feeling comfortable with the way that she's reading that first serve. And it was interesting what she said, because she kind of said, oh, I'm actually not playing well, I'm playing bad. If I just played a bit better, this would be closer. But it's actually Boulter's making her feel that way, because she's outplaying her at her own game. I like that. So see, the one thing I would do if she does get a second serve, I'd completely step in. Go for it. You've got nothing to lose, and you're still a break down here. Just take a few, swings at that second serve return. You don't have to go for the lines. Go straight through the middle. But try and take it early and put some pressure on that. Here's another second serve. Let's see what she does. Like that. So that's a change from the first kind of set or so. She's now taking that second serve return earlier and just going straight through the middle right here. Doesn't have to do much more than that. Takes time away from Boulter, and it's to the backhand as well. Boulter doesn't have time to prepare as well as she does on the forehand. Another 30-all point on Boulter's serve. Got to give a lot of credit there to Boulter, because she had a lot of options. Could have been an overhead. Could have been a bounce overhead as well, drive volley. She chose the forehand, but she didn't panic. She waited for Tomljanovic to move. Good footwork, little steps. Didn't overplay as well. Cool under pressure. go.
Deuce.
So once again gets to juice like she did in the previous service game.
But look at
Boulter.
this. Look at where she is. Half a metre inside the baseline. Good reaction on the body serve. Straight through the middle. And now she's actually rushing Boulter on a couple of these points. So will that cause a bit of pressure?
Advantage, Team Australia.
So the crowd can play a role here for the Australian. First break point since the second game of the first set. She had 3, wasn't able to convert. Good serve.
Deuce.
You know what, that's the variation, because she's been going down the tee this whole game and then takes the risk to go out wide to Tomljanovic's favourite shot. Pays off. The element of surprise.
Advantage, Team Australia.
Return that was. Fewer reaction and reflexes.
Good second serve again from Boulter.
That's gutsy.
Finds
She went
the
for
line.
it.
Well, building pressure.
Jill, looks like a little bit tentative, Boulter,
Yes.
on a couple of forehands, and in this game, just feeling a bit of pressure maybe?
Yeah, just a little bit more careful.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think she hit with that with a lot of commitment, as we've seen from the beginning of this match. But also, she's showing Tomljanovic a lot more second serve opportunities, and so that's what's helped make this game a little bit tighter.
Oh, wow.
That combination, the third
Deuce.
shot from Boulter after the serve. Impressive.
That was a big second serve, 157 into the body on a break point, and then the forehand, because she just missed that in a previous point. So that kind of screams confidence right there when you can go after your serve and shot like that on a break point.
Advantage, Team Great Britain.
Well, some excellent serving from Boulter and some key moments there. 6th and 7th aces of the match, but also some other big serves at key moments. And she escapes, saves the 3 break points. Only 9 minutes the game duration. Hard to take the positives of that if you're Tomljanovic, but she's getting closer and closer.
Yeah, but you have to, because she did well. There was nothing she did wrong there. It was just Boulter coming up with incredible shots, and that's where you say too good. But still, important here. Hold your serve, still stay with your opponent, stay with Boulter, because Tomljanovic had a break point there, a long game, 9-minute game. So put that pressure back on Boulter to have to serve well again and come up with some big shots. Stay with her. You never know what can happen, and your opponent can just go off a little bit.
I think especially if her service games start to get a little bit easier, and the last couple of games that she's been able to serve out have been not as tight. So I think that's just helping the confidence in that Tomljanovic serve as well.
Well, it was a comfortable service hole that was needed. Not done with yet is Team Australia as Tomljanovic holds serve. Team Great Britain 4-3.
Closer and closer and closer. Sorry?
Overlooking the central business district and the Swan River is Kings Park, overlooking the city. Beautiful location, home of the botanical gardens, picnic areas, open air movies. And it's that time of year, a lot of fitness fanatics marching up and down. Big long hill there, looks nasty. Saw someone running up it. I decided not to, just watched and offered encouragement. RAC Arena, beautiful venue, inside and out.
It's much better now. Like you're the closest you've been in the whole match. You're playing much better, and you're actually getting in her head a little bit. She's giving you some free points, so just keep going at it.
Time.
But yeah, when you have that first hit, you gotta go for it.
Let's go.
Come on, come on.
would make a good coach, Shalana, because you've got to go for it. It's the message, and she's getting closer, edging closer. Positivity from the Australian bench. As Boulter edges closer to the finish line, but she's not there yet and has struggled in the last couple of service games. 3 break points in the previous.
And there's that pressure you talk about when you've been able to hold your serve a little bit more comfortably, but then put a bit of pressure on your opponent's serve. And that's due to Tomljanovic's return position, especially on a second serve where she's just inside the baseline and has really been teeing off on the return, and he draws that double fault.
Left for serve.
You almost draw your opponent into some of those double faults.
There's been a few little gusts of winds that have been a little bit stronger down here too, and I think that could have been a factor in Katie making that double fault on the previous point, because they've been pretty strong gusts, not that often, but just here and there, so it is getting a little bit windier.
And she does have a serve, that second one. It's not a kick serve. She doesn't have a lot of that safety. Yet does she? It's a little bit of a flatter serve. So a little bit riskier.
30-15.
It's interesting when you look at the first serve percentage here for Boulter. You get the feeling that she's serving not as well as she did in the first set, but her first serve percentage is at 55 versus, what was it in the first set, 52, 53 for the match.
She's still winning a lot of points behind the first serve, so that's why it looks even better. And also she served well on the big points. We saw it in a previous game. Even like that there. So she threw in a double fault in the first point, but then she throws in 2 first serves. So it's a lot of this in tennis. It is about what you bring under pressure and the most important points in a match. It's just more a little bit that second serve. Again, Jill, you're right there on that baseline. It is a little bit flatter. The ball toss is also a little bit far forward, not to the left enough to be able to get that kick.
And she went for a little bit more on that second serve too.
Yeah.
Was just trying to get a free point, and I mean I think that's a good sign. Shows that she can trust herself and hopefully get a first serve in this point.
See, that was a bit of a safer one, but it was too short, and love that from Tomljanovic. All over that. Did not hesitate. And that's what kind of her coach as well as Leighton, they've been saying, you know, first shot, if you've got it, go for it. Got nothing to lose at this point. Take the risk. Try and put her under some pressure, and that's exactly what she's done here. Great job.
It's the third service game in a row that Boulter's been stretched to juice. The previous service game, 3 break points she saved. She'll be super keen to finish this one off, get to 5-3. which she does. So I'll bid you adieu, Elena, going downstairs to do an interview. May not be required immediately, but you've still got to be there just in case, so farewell to you. She dashes downstairs. So 5-3 for Team Great Britain. Edging closer to the win here, and an opening tie win, having won the first match. Cameron Norrie defeating Alex Diminor in 3 sets. Norrie's returned to the bench. Ajla Tomljanovic's serve has improved throughout the match. Her last 2 or 3 service games have been the most comfortable of the match so far.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I think it's what Elena said earlier. It's not always about pace and trying to overpower Boulter on the serve, because she likes that pace coming into her racket on the return. So there's a little bit more variety, choosing some different options. That first point right there, she took a little bit off and had a little bit more spin on the serve.
Just a few more of those loose ones too from Boulter.
Well, it was just some great hitting from both players. I mean, each one matching the pace of the other one. And then I think Boulter, that last forehand, just lifted off a little bit, almost got a little bit too excited, because that was the one she had a little more time on, and just rushed it.
Fortila.
5th ace of the match, but the 4th is set from Tomljanovic. No, incredible depth from Boulter.
Yeah, that's one.
2 in a row on the line.
Yeah, that's when she actually hits really well, is that one that's high above her shoulders on the forehand side. She just understands enough pace and power to get such good depth consistently on that shot. It's not easy to do sometimes from when it's that high over your shoulders, but she does it well.
Game, Team Australia.
So Team Australia, Tomljanovic holds serve. He's going to force Katie Boulter to serve for the match and the tie.
Break it back in. Balls are still new, right? The serve's going to come through really fast. Second serve, try half step back in your starting position, right, to give yourself a little bit of time, because that's going to shoot through much faster now, right? It'll give you time to swing free, and you'll hopefully have more time.
Probably should have done that earlier, not at 5-4.
It's all right.
It's all right.
It's all right. I don't realise how close you are to turning this whole lecture in here.
But it's tough because you're actually teeing off well on your second serve as well, so you're making more than you're missing on this. I feel like just try this today.
All right, Perth, huge couple of games coming up in this match. Let's get behind your team. Who's here for Team Great Britain?
So Tomljanovic has to do what she hasn't been able to do so far, and that's break serve here. So Cam Norrie got the win in the opening men's singles. Returned to the bench after his cool down, and now it's Katie Boulter who's looking to close this tie out for Team Great Britain. She's been able to get herself out of some tough spots on serve. Tomljanovic has been able to manage 6 in fact. My tired eyes deceiving me. 6 break points. Hasn't been able to convert any of them. 3 in both sets so far. So we'll need to find a way here to get through the Boulter serve. It's the Brits serving for the match.
Oh, that's an excellent shot from Boulter. She made that look much easier, that inside-out forehand, than it was. I mean, she was slightly off her back foot, and it didn't go over the net with much height. It just skimmed the net. It's really nice timing.
So that brings up the 3 match points in this last service game, sort of indicative of the way this match commenced. All of the first set and the first half of the second set. It's a strong on serve, powerful ground strokes, and now point away. An impressive win from Katie Boulter, and for Team Great Britain, they take the tie. 2 others to love, but that was an impressive display. 6-2, 6-4. A winning start for Team Great Britain. Jill, it was impressive, I think.